Hey guys, I want to go ahead and make a quick part 2, just a few more thoughts. You know, the Bible says we fight not against flesh and blood, but against the unseen. And that unseen just wants to rip our lives apart, rip our children's lives apart. You know, the other day, Jesus spoke to me and he said he wanted me to cook more because I don't really like to cook. And, you know, and it was just all part of what Jesus was basically telling me is that, you know, my purpose isn't just about making YouTube videos and sharing the gospel message to people. It's about just being a beacon in my own home, being a beacon of light, being a servant. You know, not letting people walk all over me, not letting the kids walk all over me, you know, but raising them to where they are hard workers, but yet loving them in such a way that to show that I love them enough to serve them. I had another thought I wanted to share. Several years ago, I read a popular book that's popular with a lot of kids and teenagers that pertains to witchcraft. And a lot of people don't see anything wrong with the book. And I'm not judging anybody. I promise. But I remember when I was reading this book, I kind of felt something heavy on my chest. Like a darkness. And even though the book never encouraged me, or even though I didn't like turn to witchcraft or anything, I did find myself occasionally, like when I was in the bookstore, when I would pass by the occult section, I was curious. I think I even looked at a book one time. I did. It was about like love spells because I really wanted somebody to like me. And so I started looking at this book. And even though I didn't do any of the spells because I knew better, I know that there are kids out there who aren't going to know that that is wrong, who aren't going to know that there is a darkness out there and that it's real and that it will use occultism and it will use things like Ouija boards and things like that to draw our children into darkness. And once you're involved in that kind of stuff, you can come out of it, but not without a fight. You're going to have to put up a fight. So it's important, guys, that we realize these things and that we just get on our knees and pray, you know. There's so much out there, you know, that the world, just because everybody else is doing it, just because we see people playing certain video games, reading certain books, playing Ouija boards or doing whatever, does not mean that it's okay. We are not of this world. We are not called to look like the world. We are supposed to be a city on a hill. We are supposed to be the image of Jesus. And whatever, it's just so important, guys, that it's so important. And you know, even just a few weeks ago, you know, I was not where I should be. You know, I wasn't being a good example. I was saying things I shouldn't say and showing anger toward other drivers and things. And that's not the example that I'm called to be. That's not who Jesus wants us to be. Jesus wants us to be an example of Him. He wants us to look like Him so that when people see us, they see Jesus. It's so much more. You know, sometimes even when I see people who go to church, a lot of them don't look like Jesus. So raising our kids is so much more than church. It's so much more. And if you haven't seen any of my videos on church, I encourage you to watch them, but it's going to break apart a lot of the things that maybe you don't want to watch them. Anyway, guys. Oh, another thing I was thinking about is that, you know, one thing I've been praying over my children lately is that they'll be disciples. That they'll be disciples for Jesus. And, you know, even if they do have a job that is you know, not discipleship, but something else, I just pray that Jesus just work in their heart to where everything they do, everything that they are is for Him. But guys, Jesus' standards are so much different than the world's. They're so much different. Anyway, hope you guys have a good day. Thanks a lot.